Hey, I've gained a lot of subscribers just from the music festival videos that I posted, and you guys see mostly from the Tomorrowland one. And I wanted to just make this video to share more about myself, my interests, my business, what I'm all about. Just because a lot of people see the music festival videos and they see one aspect of myself, and you might make some quick judgments, but we don't know exactly what I'm all about. So, first off, I'm 23 years old, living in Ontario, Canada area, and it's about to be my birthday. I'm going to turn 24 June 30th, so about 2 weeks away. Really excited actually because my dad and I are going to go to drive some exotic cars. We're going to be driving like different Ferraris, different Lamborghinis, like a Huracan, Mercedes AMG GT, Nissan GTR, even a McLaren, actually 5 or 6 different exotics. We paid for this. It's a pretty cool experience, and it's like 3 hours long. But yes, that's one of my interests. I'm actually really interested in cars. So I wanted to take the time to say thank you for the support. Thanks for following along. And if you're interested in the topics that I'm interested in and what I'm going to share here, then continue to follow along and subscribe. In terms of what I do for a living, I run an online coaching business, fitness coaching business, where I create custom meal plans, custom training programs for people, mainly women, and I help them lose body fat or tone up, build some muscle. I'll hold them accountable. That's one of my main sources of income. I train people one-on-one in their house. I also work for Orange Theory Fitness as a fitness coach, so I teach the fitness classes. Those are my 3 main sources of income, and I've always been passionate about fitness ever since I was about 15, 16 years old, and I just stuck with it ever since. So I was initially going to go to school to be an accountant. I was always interested in math. Then when I kind of discovered that I was involved and interested in fitness, it basically stemmed from the fact that I was always skinny and I didn't like the way I looked. So I was actually always a shy kid growing up. I always kept to myself. I was around like popular people, a popular crowd, but I wasn't so able to go ahead and just talk to people. I always kept to myself and I didn't have a lot to say. So I always wanted to work on myself. That's the biggest thing. I've put a lot of time and energy into working on myself, improving myself, putting myself in uncomfortable scenarios so I'm able to go ahead and do more and really live up to the dreams I want to achieve. I started running this coaching business when I was in college. I went to college for a fitness and health promotion program when I was about 19 years old, graduated when I was like 21. Then I went to University of Guelph and studied human kinetics. Did that for 1 year and I was going for a minor in neuroscience or psychology. And I stopped that because I was running the business while I was in school and I was doing really well and I was passionate about it. So I was like, you know what, I'll just take 1 year off and I'll continue with the business and see how that works out for me. So I did that and I didn't end up going back to school. I just kept with it and I loved it. I just kept going and building my business. And 2 years later, 23 years old, and that's where we are now. Just to go back a little bit, I always invested a lot into myself. As an example, when I stopped going to school, I invested in a Cardone mentor program. He was a big influence in my life. I kind of got introduced to the self-help world in terms of reading books to improve myself by one of my friends when I was in college and I was 19. He recommended a book to me, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And before this time, I never even read books to learn anything from. So he introduced me to the whole world of bettering myself. And that's when I really took to it and I discovered Grant Cardone's books and I read the 10X Rule, Be Obsessed or Be Average. And once I read these books, I started following him on YouTube and he had a mentor program. So I was 20 years old. I just got out of the university when I stopped going to Guelph and focusing on my business. And I jumped on this opportunity. It was like $1,000. I paid $1,000 to go into like a 3-month mentor program with Grant Cardone. You might be, if you're not familiar with who he is, you could search him up. He's just like a business guy, a real estate guy, and he has a lot of great content on improving your mindset and how to work on finances. So I went through his program and he essentially coached myself and others for weeks. And at the end of it, we went to his business conference. And his business conference was in Las Vegas. And it was the first time I ever flew by myself. I flew there with my own money, spent like a couple $1,000s total when I only had a few $1,000s. So I had a few $1,000s saved up and I spent a few thousand to invest in myself and fly to this conference and learn how to improve sales, marketing, growing a business, building systems for my business, and finance. And he helped me a lot with personal finance and going through all this and challenging myself to step out of my comfort zone. So I really do owe a lot to Grant Cardone, because he got me on the right path to building a better future for myself. I've always been that type of person. Maybe you're this type of person where you always think about the future and you want big things for yourself. You want to achieve a lot of things in life. You might be this kind of person, and I always kind of was. And he put me on the path to go ahead and actually achieve this. So I flew to Vegas, and it was a phenomenal experience. I met so many people. I actually gained some clients that I met there in the conference. So I was just 21 years old at the time of this conference. And after that, I was hooked. So I went again, I paid again to go in his next program. It was like $3,500. When I was there, I invested in a system for my business, and that was like another $3,000. So I was spending lots of money on myself and putting a lot of time and energy into learning new tools and strategies. You know, just today, I've read over 110 books on mindset, finance, business, real estate investing, stock investing, socializing, how to socialize better. There's a lot of ways that you can improve yourself. So I focus on improving anything I wanted to get better at, and that alone has been amazing for me. So if there's one thing I could recommend to you is don't neglect your investments in yourself. You are the best asset, so you're gonna have to put time, energy, effort, and money into improving yourself so you can go ahead and achieve things down the road. Now, when I went to the business conference again the next year, I was 22 years old. I'm in the program, and I got showcased on the program to all the thousands of other people for taking action, taking massive action. They noticed this because I did some homework assignments, because each week they assign you to do stuff, step out of your comfort zone, posting a video, sharing your thoughts, and they showcased me as an example. Just by this showcasing, one of the other people in the mentor program was a business coach. His name's Matthew Park. He messaged me right after and wanted to help me grow my business. I paid him, signed up with him right away. We had a phone call, and we started working together when I was 22. And this all started because I began investing in myself. If I didn't do the prior steps, I wouldn't have had these opportunities to go ahead and capitalize on them, to go ahead and do more things. I'm not saying I'm successful whatsoever. All I'm saying is these things put me on the path to be able to make things happen. And it's all because I started to invest in myself. So he reaches out, and I start working with my business coach, and he really does help me take my business to the next level in terms of growth, in terms of helping people more. And it's been phenomenal. So now we're here, 23 years old, and my passions kind of went from just fitness related to more of mindset and finance related. Because what I noticed when I was working with my clients, I noticed that it doesn't matter what strategies you have if your goal is to lose body fat. What matters is your mindset. Are you able to have the discipline to follow through on the things you need to do to go ahead and reach your goals? And I was having these issues with my clients, like how do I make sure my clients get the best results? Well, it came down to discipline and systems and the consistency. This is all to do with the mind and your environment. So I began becoming obsessed with learning about, okay, how can I make sure my clients get better results? I focused on learning more about mindset, doing all this research into psychology, taking courses, and learning more as much as I could. And then also I became passionate about finance because I learned for myself personally that, a lot of people really need help with their finances. And if I didn't have the early things set up and good practices set up, I wouldn't be in a decent position with my finances. I'm so grateful and excited by the fact that I've been able to at least be in a decent position with my finances, that I want to share this and help other people get in a decent position. In case you're curious, here's some of the books I read, and we got a big stack here. This is The Black Swan, we got The Hypomanic Edge. It'll take too long for me to read them all, but I'll just let you look through and scan. Let me know if there's any here that you've actually read. Just leave in the comments below and let me know your thoughts on them. A lot of these are about day trading and building an online business. In this whole section, it's about business, more about sales, more about mindset. Man Up's a great book. Even Craig Ballantyne, his book is great. So down here, what we got is more socializing. on this side at least. So never eat alone, how to talk to anyone, how to win friends, influence people. You got the happiness advantage, doing the impossible, crucial conversations. That's more about socializing. Over here we have more about improving systems and growth. And then at the bottom here, this is more investing. All of this is mainly investing. So we got real estate stuff on the left side, and then on the right side we got more about stocks, and then online business stuff, and a little bit of fitness over there. We got one more over here on the bed. Brian Tracy, $1 Million Habits, and I've got like 5 more books in my other house at home. I'm currently living in an apartment away from my parents. I just moved out less than a year ago, and the lease is going to come up in a few months. We're going to see what we're going to do. I really do want to travel after everything's safe, and I hope you're safe out there. Hope everything's okay with your family. Obviously, strange world we're living in right now, but it's the new normal, so we have to adapt and just focus on remaining more present, being grateful for what we have, and just being happy. So I hope everything's okay on your end. And that's gonna wrap up this video. So give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this type of video. Just acting how I am, just how I am as a person. And I hope you found it useful. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.